For the Elgar project that we're playing, we wanted to have some different percussion instruments to late 19th century instruments. We wanted to make it more of a 20th century project. So what we've had access to was some instruments, a bass drum, a side drum, and a glockenspiel, which were all made within 10 years of each other in 1930 and make a nice set. Sonically, they're very well matched. They all come from the same period. If we start with the glockenspiel, this is different to a more modern glockenspiel. The notes are much smaller. The sound of it is very, very sweet. And I'm playing with a rosewood mallet, which is what they would have done at the time. And this is made from very old rosewood. And the glock has quite a lot of sustain, and it has a very distinct attack. Part of that is due to the kind of steel that this is made out of, which is a form of sprung steel, which was actually not made for glockenspiels. It was made to go into large steam engines. And this steel, because of the nature of it, when you strike it, it will bend, as it were. The actual steel moves because it's sprung steel, and it makes a very distinctive sound. You can't get this steel. It's not made anymore, hasn't been made for a considerable length of time. So I found this instrument basically in pieces. I got an instrument maker to make a new frame to mount it on quite some time ago, and he managed to find some old oak to actually make the frame out of, which is what it would have originally been suspended on. So that's the glockenspiel. This side drum dates from about 1935. It's very original. The heads are replaced. It's a brass shell drum. It's a very 20th century, not 19th century type drum, because it has the tensioning system with top and bottom. So it's vastly different to a rope tension marching drum. This is a concert side drum. It's also a size of drum which was fashionable at the time and has disappeared. So it's 15 inches in diameter by 5 inches deep. Most concert side drums nowadays are only 14 inches in diameter. This is bigger. The heads on it, I was lucky enough to find somebody that was still making the right kind of heads which would have been on it originally. They're calf heads. The top head is a white calf head, and as you can hear when I rub my hand over it, it actually makes a noise. It's actually not smooth, even though it looks it. The bottom drum head is called a slunk head. It's ultra thin, and I don't know whether you need to know this, but it's actually made from the skin of veal cattle, the veal calves. You can't get these heads anymore. They're not available. And the process by which they make the white drum heads is, because the chemicals involved, is not allowed anymore. The actual process isn't. So I had bought these heads about 35 years ago from a chap who is no longer with us, unfortunately, but he was still able to make them because he was working in a historic building and had a preservation order on it, and he could still use the same processes. The drum has a very distinct sound. It's dry. It's it's not terribly high pitched like a modern side drum is, and there's no damping on the drum in any way. That's its natural sound. You don't need to put anything on to damp it. It's just the way it's made. This drum we're using for the Elgar project as well, which matches nicely with the glockenspiel. Then we come to the bass drum. This bass drum, like the side drum, has a modern tensioning system, so it's very 20th century. It doesn't have the ropes of the previous century to tune it with. The other difference is in the shell, because the bass drum that we would use, for instance, for late 19th century repertoire, they were still basically marching instruments. This isn't. So the shell is not made the same way. This has got the modern invention at the time of the 1930s, fairly modern, of plywood, and it's mahogany and poplar that this is made out of. And it's much heavier than a marching bass drum. Combination of the size of the shell, it's only 28 inches in diameter, but also with all the metal work that's on it, it makes it much heavier. So to carry it for marching would be inappropriate. It doesn't even have a place to put a strap to carry it. It's a concert instrument. This drum dates from the late 1930s, this particular one, hence the colour of it, which of course at the time would have been extremely fashionable. The head is another of the white calf heads that's on this that I managed to get hold of, which you can't get anymore. So this was quite precious. And the combination of this kind of white calf head and the shell, you get a very centred sound to the bass drum. And for the size of the drum, it's very low pitch, because, as I say, a modern concert bass drum is much bigger in diameter than this. But of course we're not playing at the same dynamic range as if you were playing later 20th century music. This is Elgar, and we don't need to play too loud. And we're also playing quite a lot of it with a chamois leather stick. And we actually get the sound we want quite easily from this drum. So we have three sonically matching instruments from the same decade of the 20th century.